guys, how are we doing tonight? Before I get to this week's Raw review, I want to add something a little bit of a personal note. Those of you that watch my videos on a regular basis, and thank you by the way, know that not only did I not do a Raw review last week, I did not do a review of Hardcore Justice last night. The reason for that is very, very unfortunate news on my part. My uncle passed away quite unexpectedly last week, and I don't tell you that to come on here and say, well, I didn't do it and I have a good excuse. This is why I didn't do it. Please forgive me, da-da-da-da. Quite frankly, I don't need to do that. I don't need to make excuses, and I don't think you guys expect me to make any excuses. I had other shit to do, so I did it. The reason I mention it is, when we got the unfortunate news, it was about midnight my time here in Canada, so most of the people that know me were either asleep or on their way or working some night shift somewhere. I was wide awake, obviously, and I was dicking around on Facebook, and because some of you have seen fit to start shooting the shit with me on Facebook, about the first 5 people to pass on their heartfelt condolences to me were various friends that I've made here in the YWC, and I wanted to start off today's video with all of you that did, and all of you that have or will or anything like that pass on their condolences, pass on their support, etc. to me, for me, you know, being there for me, even if it's only for the couple of seconds it took you to write the comment. I do appreciate it. Heartfelt thank you from me to all of you for that support. And moving on to much more positive things. I did have notes from last week's Raw. Really, the only things worth mentioning were they finally made Punk Cena, I guess Punk Cena 2, official for SummerSlam with the big pose off with the 2 belts, which was awesome and dramatic, with the music changing, one posing and the other posing, and the other music changing again. Except for the fact that it made it really, really obvious that Punk has the real belt and John Cena has the, you know, $200, $300 Shop Zone belt, which made me laugh a lot. My phone is not going off right now. I am not the Raw GM. Alex Riley and Dolph Ziggler finally developed a feud, which I said a couple weeks ago in my SummerSlam fantasy card. I said these guys should fight. In my, you know, Spaz's State of the WWE address, I said these guys should fight, and not to say that they got the idea from me, but finally they've got the idea. The personality of Dolph Ziggler, the only person I could see him going face-to-face, mano-a-mano with, character-wise and so on and so forth, would be Alex Riley, unless you wanted to put him with The Miz. But The Miz has already been a world title holder, so to have him feuding with the U.S. champion, although it would, I'm sure the idea would be to elevate Dolph, it would really bring The Miz back. The third and final thing I have to say from last week, and this goes not only for Raw but for SmackDown as well, but the developing heat in the Divas division. Oh yes, I'm making a point about the Divas division, because as much as people are going to hate me saying this, WWE took a page out of TNA's playbook. TNA, for the past couple of weeks and months, has been playing up the angle with ODB and Jackie coming in and taking out the Barbie dolls, and that's exactly what WWE has Beth Phoenix and Natalya doing now, and it makes me a happy kid. Now, I'd like to think that if they hadn't let Gail Kim go, that she would be involved in this somehow as well, but that's got to do with the releases, and I will talk about that later, I'm sure. Now, we move on to this week. We open up the show. Triple H, not the best opening promo he's done. Basically comes out, says the only person I can trust is me. The only person I can trust with the WWE title is myself, so I'm going to referee the match between Cena and Punk. Later on, there's going to be a contract signing, and Cena and Punk will both have matches tonight. The first one's going to be Cena right now. Brings Cena out, we go to a commercial break, but as we're going to commercial break, we see Cena being big and tough, and, you know, as much as he is the corporate champion, tries to look all like he's anti-establishment and getting in Triple H's face, and you better not make a mistake, and you better do the right thing, and looking like a tool. And if that doesn't make him look like a tool, his opponent is Swagger. Now, I don't care about this match at all, but surprising as it's going to sound, I'm glad that Cena won, because I'm sorry, good God, the only person that puts on more snore-worthy matches, and look me in the eye when I say this, I do not give a shit about John Cena, in the slightest. Do not misquote me at all. But the only person in the WWE currently that puts on more snore-worthy matches is Jack Swagger. I'm sorry. Swagger versus Cena tonight, I would rather see Big Show and Great Khali go at it again. I would rather see fucking, you know, Big Vis take on Yokozuna, and Yokozuna's dead. So yeah, Cena squashes Ziggler as if that's not predictable enough, and we move on. They show a flashback of SummerSlam. I think it was 91. I could be wrong. Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart. You know, it was an interesting little clip, a little bit of, you know, historical, you know, nostalgia, whatever you want to call it. It's good. It adds historical relevance to the upcoming pay-per-view, and they want to build relevance for the pay-per-view, so it's a good move. And plus, you know, from the clips that they showed, it was, you know, obviously a pretty good match. I would go and look it up again if I had the time, and I wasn't here talking to you wonderful people right now. Backstage, we have Alberto Del Rio announcing that he will be Punk's chosen opponent tonight, and he calls Punk a gutless coward for running out on his Money in the Bank cash-in attempt at Money in the Bank. So here we have Alberto Del Rio calling CM Punk a coward. Yay. They show a great promotional package of when R-Truth first snapped, when he lost his championship opportunity to Morrison, and then basically destroyed Morrison and put him on the shelf for a while. And then they have a really, really bizarre backstage interview with R-Truth talking for 5 minutes about why he hates spiders, and then saying, when I fight John Morrison tonight, we're going to see another spider get squashed. And I guess that's sort of a vague, you know, reference to John Morrison being Spider-Man, but whatever. Now, what we were supposed to have next was Rey Mysterio versus The Miz, and what happened here? Rey Mysterio came out, and Miz owned the fuck out of him on the rampway. Just, you know, beat him up, beat him down, beat him into the metal WWE logo that's on the one side of the stage there. Sets his head up on the side of that, I don't know, podium symbol, whatever you want to call it. Sets his head up there just right. Comes across with a big get the fuck down kick. Stomp into his fucking head. Heads down to the ring. Of course, if anybody's going to interview The Miz, it's going to be Michael Cole, because, you know, they're not pumping each other backstage. Cole interviews The Miz. Miz is pissed off that he doesn't have a match at SummerSlam. He wants a referee to come down and announce that he has beaten Rey Mysterio by forfeit. Instead, Triple H sends down Kofi Kingston to fight The Miz, because we're going to try and push Kofi Kingston until he falls over. Miz versus Kofi has happened before. It'll probably happen again when they need another good filler match. It's good. Kofi Kingston does all the high-flying, spectacular stuff that we expect from him, and Miz comes back, destroys him for the win, because they need Miz to stay looking strong. This match would have been 10 times better if it wasn't for the fact that the entire match was Cole cutting off JR to pump up The Miz. We've gotten to the point now where we don't need Cole there kissing The Miz's ass to pump him up. He speaks for himself in the ring, and all Michael Cole is doing now is dampening the awesome effect that JR's comeback should have made on Monday Night Raw. There we go. So yeah, Miz beats Kofi Kingston, no problems with that whatsoever. Typical backstage promo from Punk. Punk's promos are awesome, whether they're a minute or whether they're 10 minutes. Basically, putting down Triple H, and, you know, it's very predictable that, fuck off, and stop dinging. There's no more Raw General Manager, because Triple H is in charge now, so stop dinging. That's right. Yeah, it's predictable that Triple H is the referee. He's going to try and screw me over somehow. They're going to protect the Golden Boy. And, it's much more lively and effective than I'm making it, obviously, because it's 1:45 here. Next up is Alberto Del Rio versus Punk. There's a great bit of psychology for most of this match with Alberto Del Rio working Punk's arm. Punk, even for Punk, who has been on fire anyways, Punk looked on fire, looked extra excited in this match, and Punk wins the match. Now, whereas you got two guys going into SummerSlam. This, I probably should save this for my score and fail, but I'm going to say it now. The contrast between the two matches that have happened tonight. You know, you've got Cena in a match, you've got Punk in a match. And these are the guys that are going to face on Sunday. Cena's match with Swagger put me to sleep. Not only did Punk and Alberto Del Rio's match have me paying attention from bell to bell, even with Alberto Del Rio losing the match, he still looks strong. I'm still convinced that he's somebody, somewhere along the line, that could come along with that Money in the Bank briefcase and convincingly beat Punk in a match. That's the sign of a good match. When even the loser looks really good, like Del Rio did tonight, and it pains me to say, because when Del Rio came in, I didn't have 2 words to say about him, but he looks great now. When he looks great, even on the losing end of a match, that's when you know you've seen a good match, people. That is a very simple statement coming from me. So, Punk wins that match. Looks strong going into SummerSlam. Again. Next segment, we have a flashback of Beth Phoenix attacking Kelly Kelly last week. And I'm interested in the Divas division. Very slowly, very carefully am I investing my my interest in the Divas division again. Beth Phoenix is going to take on Eve. Beth pretty much owns the match, but to be fair, for a Barbie doll diva, whatever you want to call her, Eve did put in a decent effort in this match. She put in a decent losing effort, but she didn't look... I would rather see this match at SummerSlam than her versus Kelly Kelly, and just have Kelly Kelly come in and hand over the belt. Beth Phoenix wins. Beth Phoenix gets on the mic and gloats and reinitiates her statement of, the Barbie dolls are going to be gone, your time is over, it's time for real wrestling to come back to the women's division, etc., 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 and then she gets a cheap shot from Kelly Kelly. So now, if I didn't already hope for it, I really, really hope she destroys Kelly Kelly at SummerSlam, which should happen, but then again, Kelly Kelly is the John Cena of the Divas division, so anything can happen. Alright, Dolph Ziggler versus Alex Riley. First and foremost, this should have been saved for SummerSlam. This match, this new rivalry, again, very much very much referencing my conversations with various people on Facebook and such. Ziggler and Alex Riley has the potential to be the best new rivalry in the WWE. Maybe tie that with the Sheamus and Mark Henry stuff over on SmackDown, but definitely on Raw. As far as brand new rivalries, this one has to be it. Alex Riley had the joking line of the night when Vicky Guerrero tried to get into his face, and the quote was, if I wrote this down properly, the quote is, "Vicky, I don't want to say that you have bad breath, but it smells like death itself took a crap in your mouth." It's corny, it's lame, it's somebody else taking a shot at Vicky Guerrero, but that's pretty fucking funny. I don't care. Good, fast-paced back and forth match. Ziggler tried, and I'm a fan of Ziggler, but Ziggler tried to put on a really sloppy sleeper hold in this match, didn't he? Alex Riley got out of it. Alex Riley started building up a head of steam on Alex Riley, or on Dolph Ziggler rather. Vicky Guerrero, for some reason, gets into the ring, starts scolding Alex Riley, and slaps him in the face. Physical contact. Dolph Ziggler is disqualified. Alex Riley punches Ziggler, who falls into Vicky. Vicky and Ziggler start fighting and argue, and Alex Riley leaves smiling like a fucking Cheshire cat as Vicky and Ziggler are tearing each other up. Now, I'm really, really hoping this is the stimulus towards Vicky leaving Dolph Ziggler. If Vicky leaves Dolph Ziggler, we could definitely have another Alex Riley-Dolph Ziggler match at SummerSlam with no bullshit, and it could be the dark horse. It could steal the fucking show, but not if Vicky's involved. Truth versus Morrison. Another another set of guys, I said the same thing about Miz and Alex Riley a while ago, who really are not capable of having a bad match. Truth and Morrison are even a more rare commodity because they work well as a tag team and as opponents. Like, they know each other that well. They looked good. They made each other look good. Morrison coming in obviously a lot angrier than the last time they fought. Truth coming in a lot crazier than the last time they fought. Highlight of this match before you know, the things that led to the end was R-Truth on the outside behind one of the posts, and Morrison pulled a move, and the only way I can describe it, and I wrote it down because I was gonna forget it, a rolling crossbody over the corner of the ring post, out of the ring onto R-Truth. Like, didn't even acknowledge the fact that there was a post there, that there was a ring there. He just levitated himself right onto R-Truth. And from that point, you know, Morrison, who's famous for all his high-flying parkour shit, showed a really, really nasty sort of brawling side. Now, coming off of the guardrail, obviously going to do something like an elbow drop or whatever. Truth swept his leg, and as he fell off the guardrail, smacked his upper back and neck off the guardrail in a fall that looked just dirty enough to look legitimate. And you know, obviously after that, R-Truth parlayed that neck injury into quick victory. So Truth looks strong because he won the match. Morrison looks strong because he lost the match, but there was one slip up that led to that loss. So that's that. I'm not really sure why, but Christian popped up on the Titantron for a whole 30 seconds to say there's going to be a big announcement on SmackDown. So obviously he's going to shoot more shit at Triple H leading into his no-holds-barred match with Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Probably going to be more, you know, I've brought in my lawyers to do this and that. That's what I'm predicting. But I don't know. We'll have to wait till Friday, won't we? And I don't do Friday reviews because I'm usually not home. Triple H and John Laurinaitis come up for the contract signing. I'm sorry. Triple H being in charge and Triple H doing his in-charge stuff, I love it. John Laurinaitis shouldn't be a televised character because he's got the charisma of my 2-day-old boxers. He really, really does. But be that as it may, Punk came out. Punk showed, instead of saying what he thought of John Cena, he did something really clever. He pulled up a video that I had already seen on YouTube, but it's a video from The Rock's Facebook page talking about everything that's wrong with Cena, how he's phony and how only the kids like him and this and that, and men don't respect him because he's phony. And it's worded quite well. When I first saw the video a couple weeks ago, I watched it 5 or 6 times because it made me laugh my ass off. And the fact that they brought it out now to use against Cena on Raw was great. Other than the fact that after Punk was done showing it, he took some shots at The Rock before he went back to taking his shots at Cena. Cena's response was to make reference to a couple weeks ago when CM Punk called Cena the New York Yankees, and there's a bunch of comparisons there that I don't really care to understand or explain because I don't watch baseball. He calls Punk a bigger phony than he is because Punk came back just for the money. Triple H chimes in and says, yeah, you just came back for the money and you've got no guts, you do everything over the phone and whatever and whatever. As soon as the comment of you do everything over the phone, you don't even do things in person, Punk turns to Triple H and John Laurinaitis, and it's like, well, if memory serves me correctly, you fired Vladimir Kozlov, Harry Smith, and Chris Masters over the phone, so you're a phony, da-da-da-da. So obviously that got a big reaction from the fans, and everybody was behind Punk again from that point. Because up until that point, the crowd was relatively quiet, I have to say. Cena waited for Punk to be done his long promo, which was in typical Punk fashion, very, very great. Cena tried to cut his own Punk style promo and just butchered the effort hard, very, very hard. Basically ended up by saying, Punk, when I beat you this Sunday, you're going to be known as the Loudmouth One-Hit Wonder. And then Punk pulls out a story from when he began in the WWE, when he won the ECW title. And apparently John Cena came up to him all big and boastful and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, good job, kid, I almost lost faith in you." And the thing about that is, whether it's true or not, Cena's character, I can see doing it, being a condescending little cunt like that. So, and then, Punk just smiles up at him and says, "Yeah, I hold a grudge. I've been holding a grudge since then." Sort of doing flashback work like Punk does like that made me think of how he started off the Randy Orton rivalry. The Randy Orton rivalry, in theory, was based off an altercation that he had with Randy Orton like 2 or 3 years before that, when Orton was still in Legacy. So it gives some consistency to the storyline. It's not just, you hit me in the face last week, so I'm going to hit you in the face this week. No, you genuinely, legitimately insulted me when I tried to start in this company, and now I'm one of the WWE champions, and now I'm going to fuck you up. It's a little more legitimate. It's got a little bit more balls behind it. They both do the very, very typical, we're done talking, we need to start kicking each other's asses, so one stands up and the other stands up, and they toss the table out of the way. And of course, as they come to blows, Triple H and John Laurinaitis get taken out in the crosshairs. Punk rolls out to the floor, Cena stays in the ring with Triple H, and Cena's last, or CM Punk's last comment as they leave the ring is this what it's going to be like on Sunday with you two standing in the ring and me on the outside looking in? Which, if he's going the whole conspiracy route with his theories and, Cena being all protected or whatever, it makes perfect fucking sense. Everything Punk does makes sense, and it looks like Cena and Triple H and the rest of the WWE is just trying to catch up. And that's the beauty of it. Punk can go and do anything right now, and it'll look like everybody else is just trying to keep up. Okay, scores, wins, and MVP, or scores, fails, and MVPs. I can speak, I swear. Scores. Jim Ross, like I say, he's basically being, like, all of his positive effects are being sort of watered down by Cole, but Jim Ross kind of breaks the mold, because, you've got the face guy, or you've got the face commentator in Jerry Lawler, who's going to boost all the faces, you've got the heel commentator in Cole, who's going to boost all the heels, and you've got JR, and especially in the Miz Kofi Kingston match, JR went out of his way, even though Miz is the heel, went out of his way to boost the effectiveness and the legitimacy of the Miz. And it's, JR is the biggest face in the commentator booth that there's ever been. But it was refreshing to say, yeah, this guy's an asshole and he does a lot of prick things, but he's still an amazing wrestler. That was good. We haven't had that in a long-ass time, because Jerry Lawler, although he's the face, is loath to give any of the heels any credit, because any of the heels immediately associate with Michael Cole. So we need a little bit of that. We need somebody that's neutral like JR to give legitimate push to the heels, because the faces are getting it in spades from the King. Score to the Punk Alberto Del Rio match. This has to be a championship match somewhere along the way, doesn't it? If Punk is the highest rating rising star in the WWE right now, then Alberto Del Rio's got to be 1A or 1.5, doesn't he? Really, anybody that saw the match tonight can't deny that this has to be a pay-per-view match eventually. The Divas push, I will say it again, sort of put an end to the Barbie dolls, at least for a little bit. Give the people like me, because I don't think there's many of us left that still give them half a chance. Give people like us a chance to appreciate the legitimate female wrestling. I mean, after that, go and try to fix your tag team division, but for now, you're doing sort of a good thing with the Divas division. Don't fuck it up. That's what I'm begging the WWE. You've got a little bit of a good idea here, just let it happen. Don't fuck it up. Alright, the Alex Riley Dolph Ziggler story. When I first saw Alex Riley and Dolph Ziggler altercate last week, I thought, okay, they'll bug each other last week, they'll bug each other this week, and it has to be a match at SummerSlam. It's too good. They gave it to us tonight on Raw a little bit. I hope by Friday it's announced that they're going to have a rematch at SummerSlam. I really need to see it. They don't have any like mid-card title belt matches at pay-per-views anymore at all, and this isn't like sitting right in their lap, ready to go. Like, just pull the trigger and let it happen, and get rid of Vicky. That's it. So, not a big thing. Kind of made me laugh that they played The Rock. Sorry, I've got something on my screen. That they played The Rock clip from YouTube. Because not only does it make Punk look so smug that he's going to let somebody else do the talking for him for a minute while he catches his breath, it keeps in the back of our minds that story that we're pushing towards for Mania without The Rock actually being there, which is really, really a smart idea on the WWE's part. Okay, fails. First and foremost, during the Miz versus Kofi Kingston match, it was announced that Ray, who wasn't fighting tonight because he'd been taken out already, has invoked his rematch clause for the WWE Championship, and he's going to fight whoever wins the title at SummerSlam. That's a dumb move, honestly, because you want people to be buying your pay-per-view. You don't want people to be looking past your pay-per-view to the next night on Raw, doesn't it? Because if we're already looking forward to the next night on Raw, I said this when they had Tough Enough start right after WrestleMania. It was the same thing. You don't want to be thinking about the night after your pay-per-view. You want them to be thinking your pay-per-view is the most important thing going on right now. And after the pay-per-view is done, let the chips fall where they may. If they're already promoting Raw, me as a fan, or not me as a fan, because I'm going to get the pay-per-view anyway, but I can see some fans being like, well, if they're already promoting Raw, then they already must be thinking that their pay-per-view is not going to be that great. Or it's already going to be overshadowed, or whatever. Or, why am I going to watch these guys fight for the championship at SummerSlam if they might lose it the next night on Raw? Like, there's so many bad things about getting too far ahead of yourself. I already said it when I talked about the match. Cena and Swagger bored the fuck out of me. Not much more I can say about that. Swagger, I know Swagger has skills, but he's not entertaining, and he's... I cringe when he comes out. I cringed when he came out before he did this shit with Michael Cole, and any credibility he had with me was lost after that. Last fail, I know that they're doing it to make the match seem more important. Triple H doesn't need to ref this match at SummerSlam. Cena versus The Miz. Fuck! I'm not talking. Cena versus CM Punk. There we go. At SummerSlam to determine the undisputed WWE Champion is big enough without adding another element to it. It was unnecessary and makes me think that it's going to be full of bullshit as opposed to being another good match. So yeah. MVP of the night is Alex Riley. And repeat the video if you don't know why. I'm going to leave you with one more thought. We all know that that John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania has us already thinking about what else could happen at WrestleMania. We all know what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan, and he's going to get cash in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, whatever. Now, everybody that I know has been talking about who do we want Punk to face at Mania. The dream match is obviously Punk versus Austin, because a lot of people have been talking about that. The other dream match has been, well, if Y2J comes back to the WWE, we'd love to see Y2J versus Punk at Mania. The promos leading up to that alone would be fucking tremendous. I have a match for you guys to think about, and I want you guys to really, really think about this match for a second and leave me your thoughts down below. 6-man elimination tag team match. Steve Austin, CM Punk, and The Miz versus Triple H, Chris Jericho, and Randy Orton. That's it. Let me know what you think down there. And as always, subscribe up there, talk down there, leave a message, let me know what you think. Don't be a stranger, and I will talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Get up, come on,